Hey everyone, welcome back to On the Clock Podcast, your spot for the NFL Draft. I'm Leo, always with Donovan. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Had a little injury, but he's back now, and we're with Tyler. We have two new segments for you guys today. We have Donovan's Top 10. He's going to be talking about the running backs for this draft class. And then we have Do Not Draft. The guys are going to give us three players that they don't want drafted in certain positions or to certain teams. And then we're going to be back with Name That Prospect. I'm going to ask them, I'm going to give them the three hints. And let's see if they can get them in the three hints, and if they don't, I win, I guess. So you guys are going to try and beat the host for that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the top 10 running backs.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this segment. We're going to be bringing you a new one each episode, breaking down the prospects for this class, getting deeper into that class outside of the first round. So today we decided to start with running backs. I had a lot of time over the last week with my sickness to sit down and really compile this list, make sure it was how I liked it and ready for the episode, so let's hope it goes without failure. But starting with number 10, I have Jonah Coleman. He's a running back out of Washington, and he's sort of regarded as one of the top guys in this class. I personally, guys, I'm not a fan of him. He's 5'9", 228. Just his build alone reminded me a lot of Zach Moss, and then his play did too. You know, he does have positives. He's nice at the goal line and short yardage as a short yardage back. He's a good blocker, and he's been a starting running back in college football for the past 4 years. So he definitely has experience. The problem lies is that he's not a three-down back, and I didn't think he had any top physical skills, especially when you look at his height. That really stood out to me as an NFL prospect. When you look at these shorter running backs, Darren Sproles was super agile and super fast. Another one, Eagles running back Boston Scott, was a super physical runner. Jonah Coleman, I didn't really see any of that. I wasn't a fan. He's looking at like a day 2 pick. For me, that's far too high for him. I would take him in day 3, and I wouldn't take him as a starter or maybe even a second down. Maybe you're looking at a third down goal line back, even a fullback type of position. That's where I'd take him. Maybe I'm a little hard on him, but I wasn't a fan. I haven't been a fan for a while. Moving on to number 9, I have Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M, a guy that probably would have been a lot higher on my list given that he played the whole season, but he did have an ankle injury and missed a while. A lot of games this season he did not play. But when he is in, you're getting a powerful runner. You're getting a guy that runs with a lot of steam. He helps as a blocker, and even while he's running with steam and powerful, he is an agile runner as well. I think Le'Veon Moss has a lot of boom potential, but due to the injury and the fact that we didn't see too much out of him this year, he fell to number 9. Another guy that we're looking at, probably a day 3 pick, maybe 4th, 5th round around that area, depending on how quick these running backs go off. Number 8 is a really interesting prospect for me. This is Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. He is 6'2", and that's not something you see out of a running back, right?
Yeah.
And what I thought is his route tree must have to be horrible for him to be a running back and not a receiver at 6'2". What you saw from him at 6'2" is obviously great physicality, great in open field against these guys. He's going to run through you. But he also has traits of an elusive back. He has great acceleration, and his top speed really impressed me. The downside is he wasn't very agile. You know, he is an elusive back. He has great acceleration and top speed. He can run between the tackles. But when it came to making a guy miss, he could about run through him, and that's it. So that stood out to me as a fault. I still think he's a great running back. Again, he's my 8th in the class. I just had to put him down there due to that. I'll be interested to see his role in the league. I don't think he'll play if he couldn't play receiver at college, and it's due to the route tree or something. That's probably not something that's going to get fixed in the NFL. Maybe if he goes to an offensive-minded head coach, something happens. But that's a prospect I'm super interested in watching. Number 7, the first out of 2 Penn State running backs, I have Nick Singleton, who after the 2024 Fiesta Bowl, probably we all thought he was going to be the RB1 in that backfield over Kaytron Allen. In my opinion, he was outperformed by Kaytron Allen this year. He was more of the receiving back for Penn State, and I didn't think his vision was too good, and he didn't look too impressive through contact, but he runs hard, and his speed really stood out to me compared to a lot of guys in this class, even some guys that I do have above him. But it's hard to tell when you're in these backfields that have 2 guys at somewhere relative of the same level. It's hard to tell. I didn't think Singleton was better than Allen, and when I say it's hard to tell, I mean how good they're going to be in the league. There are cases in which that's different, and we're going to see that in just a few minutes. Number 6, rounding out the bottom half of my top 10, I have Seth McGowan out of Kentucky. He was a big performer at the Senior Bowl, especially in drills. People liked how good his footwork was and how fast it was, and that was shown on tape as well. His agility stood out because his footwork is so crazy. It's so fast. He runs with his foot in the ground. Almost kind of reminded me of Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs. His top speed isn't crazy, which is why I knocked him down to 6. A lot of people have him top 4, top 5, and I'm not sure he's going to be an every down back, which is another reason I have him at 5 going into this year's draft class. Tyler, though, I'm going to come to you real quick. We looked at the bottom half, and there's a lot of guys that are going to go in these late rounds. It's not exactly top round heavy, but is there a guy you had your eye on that I did not mention that you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, so I had a guy that could be a day 3 pick here. I had Des Reed out of Pitt. He could be a little he's a little small for his back, for a running back. He's a little small, so he can be overlooked a little bit, but he can be utilized as a change of pace, third down running back. He could be a dangerous return specialist too. We saw him take home some punt returns in his time at Pitt, but he might be overlooked due to his size, but he has some explosive speed and can be really utilized as a running back, a pass catcher, or like I said, a return specialist. So I think he could be a good day 3 pick for any team.
Yeah, I did look at Desmond Reed. I considered him for my list. The only thing besides his size that really kept him off my list was just the lack of time on the field. I feel like we definitely saw him miss a few games this season, and then even in the games he played, he's not an every down guy, but he is a guy that I believe has tremendous upside if he can stay healthy and stay on the field, and a guy that'll probably make a few GMs look stupid for passing on him when he gets taken on day 3.
That was part of the problem with him this year, though. He was a little inconsistent with his
Right.
playing time. There were games where he'd be out mid-game, and there were games he missed completely. So
Yeah. I think that stood out, but outside of that, I do think he's a good prospect. I do like Desmond Reed.
I like that he has the ability to be a return specialist.
Yeah.
Even though Rashid Shaheed is a wide receiver, we see him more on the return side than in the pass game. He does catch some deep balls because of his insane speed, but I would like to see Desmond Reed kind of be used as the special team specialist, as a return man on a team that needs it. So I think that will be maybe one of the reasons he is drafted, because of his background on special teams.
And I love that you mentioned that, because we see with the new kickoff rules, special teams getting more and more important this year. You look at the Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl. Rashid Shaheed was a great threat on their offense, but more importantly was an incredible threat on their special teams, and we saw that against the 49ers in the divisional round. He took the opening kick return back, and it seemed about over since there. So that's a great point that you mentioned. All right. Let's move into the top 5 then. These are all big names, guys I could see going within the first 2 days of the draft, probably the first 2 rounds, and I would love it. Number 5 is a guy I am super high on. This is one of my guys, which later in the draft process, I'm sure we'll talk about our guys. Jamari Taylor from Virginia is one of my guys, man, and this is a guy that is not on a lot of top 10 lists. I love him, or he's on the bottom of them. I love Jamari Taylor. I have him at 5. He had 2 very productive years in a row. This one with Virginia in 2024. He was with North Carolina Central, so a transfer to Virginia, and now he's in the NFL draft. You love to see out, but to me, he can really do it all. He stood out as one of the best blocking running backs in the class. He has great vision in the backfield, behind the line of scrimmage. He's a tough and physical guy, and he's paired with some elusive traits, which I really believe can be a deadly combo in the NFL. Jamari Taylor, again, great top speed. Not a top name you're going to hear throughout the draft process. I hope his stock rises. I'm a big fan of him, and I have him at 5. Moving on, number 4, we have the second out of the 2 Penn State running backs, Kaytron Allen. He is officially, unofficially, right now on my big board at number 79, due to change before the draft. But I thought he was better than Singleton this year. He outproduced him. He puts his head down, and he just runs, man. He is great after contact. But to pair with that, he can run in between the tackles, and you're going to get some elusive runs out of him. You're going to get 15-plus yard runs out of him that we saw a lot of during his time at Penn State this year. And I believed he was better than Singleton for those reasons and probably more. But this is something that I think a lot of draft experts, maybe we're not that, but a lot of draft experts like to talk about is this PSU backfield, and who's better? Is it Katron Allen? Is it Nick Singleton? So while I have Allen, is there any of you guys that disagrees or just do agree with me and you want to talk about Katron Allen some more?
No, I completely agree. I think Katron Allen, he's very blue collar. Like, he puts his head down and he runs. You saw him in the Nebraska game. He took a huge hit and the paint fell off his helmet. So I think Singleton was a little bit inconsistent this year. Allen's just been more consistent, and like Donovan said, he's very patient, and when he runs, he runs with power. He's a hard-hitting running back, and I just think he's overall better than Singleton.
Yeah.
I like Allen a lot. I do think he is better than Singleton. Did you say he was day 2 or day 3 pick?
I think he'll be day 2.
Yeah.
It could be round 3, but day 2.
Yeah. I like him going to a team that really needs a running back. I was looking at the Broncos because they had R.J. Harvey. He was very solid, but then you need to take some weight off of his shoulders. So I think Allen and Harvey could be the 1-2 punch. Allen's just straight power. Harvey's more agile, can get the big chunk plays. But I think Allen and Harvey would go great together in the Broncos' backfield.
All right. Well, let's get into the top 3. These are the big dogs of this running back draft class. Starting with number 3, the second out of the 2 Notre Dame running backs, I have Jadarian Price. He's number 62 on my big board, which would equate to a second-round pick. Maybe he goes a little bit before then. Well, not first round, but early second round if we could see, just because this running back class is low. We'll see. I have him at 3. We're yet to see him as the pure RB1, which is about my main red flag with him, is that while he was great, he was behind Jeremiah Love. We haven't seen him with the full workload for a consistent amount of time. But when you do see him in there, you're seeing really quick cuts. What stood out to me was maybe not to the extent, but really showed shades of LaShawn McCoy, the Eagles running back from the early 2010s. He bounced off tackles really well, and he can get downfield fast. He's more of an east to west guy than a north to south kind of guy. And sometimes he does try to get a little too fancy behind the line of scrimmage, and you result in, loss of yards or loss of yards you could have had. Which, speaking of, shout out to Desmond Claiborne, because he was about to make my list, but I just saw that too often. He's a running back out of Wake Forest, so I just thought I'd mention that. And then his ball control worries me just slightly. He had 3 fumbles this year. It's not the end of the world. I think it's something to keep an eye on, though. He can work on during the offseason. And obviously I'm not going to have him above his buddy in the backfield, who we're going to get to in just a minute. Number 2, though, I was expecting to have Price here. This guy pleasantly surprised me. It is Emmett Johnson out of Nebraska. He is number 58 on my big board, and he was seriously what seemed to be like 85% of Nebraska's offense. I mean, if you watch them, he was this dude's entire offense. He had 251 carries this year. That's more than anybody in this top 10, I believe, by like 20 or 30. I forget the number. That's crazy on its own. He averaged almost 6 yards a carry. This guy is a hoss. He is patient in the backfield, shades of Le'Veon Bell, Steelers running back, right? Or Kenneth Walker that we just saw in the Super Bowl. And he can really do it all. He fights through contact. He can make a defender miss. His agility is top tier. The only red flag I had is he is a very poor blocker. I'd love to see him get better at that. This running back class, we've talked about it. It's not top heavy. So guys like Emmett Johnson, who are at 58 on my big board, we could still see going early, mid, second round. Tyler, is there a team that stood out to you that we could see potentially reaching on him?
Yeah, so I have the Saints. They're a little bit earlier in the second round, but if they pass up on Jeremiah Love in the first round, I could see them taking Johnson. I could also see either the Broncos taking them, like Leo said, to build off him with R.J. Harvey, take the workload a little bit off his shoulders. And then maybe even if the Steelers don't re-sign Kenneth Gainwell, maybe they take him to complement Jalen Warren. So I have those 3 teams as teams to maybe look out for that would potentially reach on him in the second round.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would love the Saints taking him. I think he'd be a complement and a successor to Alvin Kamara, and we've seen what Kellen Moore can do with running backs in the offense. I mean, Kamara was good this year at his old age, but back in 2024 when he was with the Eagles, we saw what he did with Saquon Barkley. Mm-hmm. So, is that all? Yeah. Speaking of Saquon Barkley, my number 1 running back, gives me 2024 Saquon Barkley vibes. I've talked about him on the show before. He is my number 2 prospect in this entire class. I love him. I hate where I think he's going to go, but it is Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. Man, this guy, when I say Emmett Johnson can do it all, this guy can do it all at an insanely better level, and that's no shade to Emmett Johnson. Jeremiah Love is just an absolutely incredible prospect. He's one of the best running back prospects I've ever seen, up with Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley. I'm probably forgetting someone, but those are the 2 names that come to mind. Incredible everything. Vision, burst, agility, speed, acceleration. He can pound the rock, dude. He is a 3-down back in my eyes. Again, he's the second best player. I think he's easily a top 10 pick. The Chiefs would be silly to pass on him if he's there. I could see the Saints and Kellen Moore taking him with, again, what we just said, Kellen Moore can do with running backs. He is probably, while he's my number 2, he was my most favorite prospect to watch so far this entire draft prospect. So not only that, forgot to add, he is great in the receiving game. He has good hands. He can run the routes. He can block. Dude, he can do it all. He is the real deal. If he ended up being a bust, that would honestly surprise me most out of anyone in this class. I think he's the safest prospect. I don't care about positional value, dude. I think he's the second best player in this draft, and he's my personal favorite as of right now. That about does it. Wrap up my first top 10 segment with running backs.
I've seen Jeremiah Love play in person. I was at the Pitt Notre Dame game for college game day, and he was just torching the Pitt defense. As you said, he can just play anywhere, receiving, run game, cover sideline to sideline. That guy, he can do it all.
He can. I might have to get his jersey if he doesn't go to the Chiefs or the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Or the Giants or the Commanders. Sorry. So anyone in the NFC East or the Chiefs.
All right, let's move into Do Not Draft now. There's 3 prospects for each one of the guys. They're going to tell us why they don't want them drafted to certain teams, certain levels of the draft. So let's get into it. Let's start with Tyler. His number 1, Ty Simpson. This guy's D1 Ty Simpson hater, but let's hear about it.
Yeah, so looking at you Steelers, do not draft Ty Simpson in the first round. He would be Kenny Pickett 2.0. He had a good start to the season, solid start, but kind of fell off at the back half of the year, kind of blew up a little bit, and some could say it was his fault, some could say it wasn't, but either way, he still kind of had a really bad back half of the year, and he kind of had limited starting experience, kind of came on the scene in Alabama this year, and he's just inconsistent overall. I think he'd be a solid day 2 pick maybe, but overall, too inconsistent for a day 1 pick, and like I said, he would just be another Kenny Pickett if any team drafted him in the first round, especially the Steelers.
I think it's crazy because we're talking about a month ago when Dante Moore and Chambliss are still in this class. Ty Simpson's like certified round 2 pick, and now he's really with both of those guys not in this class, he's really starting to pick up on this first round hype, especially the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. I would hate that pick.
Let's switch over to Donovan for his number 1 for Do Not Draft.
Yeah, I got pinned with the defensive guys for this segment. So my first guy is Keldrick Folk. He is 15th on the consensus draft board, or consensus big board on Mock Draft Simulator or Mock Draft Database, one of the websites. It's a consensus big board, and he's 15. He's 30th on mine. And I do think he's a great run defender, one of the better guys in this class, which could be helpful to teams like maybe the Packers, who have Micah Parsons, a great pass rusher, and need that stone as a run defender. But when you talk about pass rushing, he is genuinely one of the worst pass rushers that I have ever watched. He reminds me so much of Shamar Stewart from A&M last year. He got drafted to the Bengals in the first round, who I did not like either. I'm getting the same feeling with him. It seems like he forgets how to play football as soon as he is rushing the passer, as soon as it's a pass play and not a run play. So if he could clean that up, I don't know how much he can really do in the draft process right now to do that. He's getting mocked to the Cowboys, which honestly I wouldn't mind. I don't think he's that good. Again, he's 30th on my big board, and he's probably not going to move up. Maybe I have to watch more tape on him, but that's a guy I'd stay away from in the first 29 picks, probably first round. I think there's going to be better fits for every team than Keldrick Folk.
Yeah, I think there are better interior D linemen than Keldrick Folk as well, but like you said, maybe just because he has the name, all that to him, the stats,
yeah,
he might go to top first round, but I don't know. I really don't know. Like you said, the Cowboys and then the Dolphins pick at 11 where they just take anyone. Yeah.
Nah. Miami can do so much with this
Yeah.
pick. If they take Keldrick Folk, I'd be mad for them because there's so many good picks. Dallas can have them.
Yeah. Enough about Keldrick Falk. Let's move on to Tyler for his number 2 for Do Not Draft.
For my number 2, I have Spencer Fano and the offensive tackle, and he's a little bit inconsistent with his technique. He lacks his arm length is a little bit lacking, and it can be exploited by long-armed edge rushers. Anyone can really exploit that, but he's a dominant run blocker, so he's still very solid, very good pick. But he just struggles with the elite pass rushers due to his arm length, which can be, like I said, it can just be exploited by the elite edge rushers, and you're going to face a lot of those in the NFL. It's not college football anymore, so I think he's a solid pick, but at the end of the day, I think he's a little overrated and a little overhyped. I see a lot of mock drafts having him in the top 10, top 15. I think should cool it on him a little bit.
I like that. Cool it on him a little bit.
I agree completely. Just to add in there, he's 16th on my big board, and I'm constantly seeing him mocked 6th to the Browns. I think there's a lot they can do. So if they went with him, I'd have to label that a reach. So I like your points.
If he does go to the Browns twice a year, he has to go against the Steelers pass rush, T.J. Watt, Highsmith, all those. The elites there, also the Ravens pass rush. I mean, the Bengals don't really pass rush.
Mike Green.
Yeah, Mike Green.
I mean, they have Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson. They just, Shamar Stewart. But yeah, if he does end up going to the Browns, he's gonna have a rough time because of all just like the elite pass rush in the AFC North as well, and then also in practice he's gonna have to go against Myles Garrett as well. So
maybe that'll make him better.
Maybe
Iron
it'll make him
sharpens
better,
iron.
yeah.
I think I get predicting Shedeur if you're going to roll with him. I think it's very important, but unless Francis Mauigoa is there, who's projected to go 3 right now to the Cardinals, unless he drops them, I think any offensive lineman there is a reach, especially when you have other guys like Carnell Tate, Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon, like top receiver threats. There's other things you can do to help out Shedeur that are going to be a better pick in my mind than Spencer Fanu. But I get protecting your quarterback. I think it's important. I think Fano is a little bit of a reach. Maybe you can trade back in the first round.
Yeah. All right. Let's go over back to Donovan for his number 2.
Yeah, my number 2 is Caden McDonald, and I've been on this train for a little bit now. I don't necessarily think he's bad. I think he's actually very talented. He's 27th on my big board, which is higher than Keldrick Folk. Or sorry, he's actually not. He's 38th on my big board. I knew that didn't sound right as soon as I said it. He's 27th on the consensus big board. But again, I don't think he's a bad prospect. I think he's actually a great run defender. I just think this D tackle class is very strong in the first round. You have Caleb Banks out of Florida. You have Peter Woods out of Clemson and Christian Miller out of Georgia, who a lot of people do have below Caden McDonald. I thought he stood out more as a game wrecker, and he's at the ball every play. I thought Christian Miller was more impressive, and with Caden McDonald getting mocked in the first round, unless all of those guys are gone, I'd be surprised to see. Not surprised because he's getting that hype, but I'd be not a fan of someone taking him that high. But I don't think at all he's a bad prospect. He's top 40 for me. That's the first 8 picks of the second round. Sorry, math isn't my strong suit. That's why I'm here. But, yeah, it's Caden McDonald.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I do agree with that as well. Let's go over to Tyler for his last one for Do Not Draft.
My last one, I have Caleb Tiernan, another offensive tackle, this one out of Northwestern. And I think he's a pretty average player. He has a high floor, and he wins a lot of his battles, and he uses his leverage very well, but he's kind of lacking an elite physical trait that he can use some development. He can be a backup to start and try to get that development to try and get a trait that's going to be something that can help him really produce and be a lot better. But as a result, I just think he's kind of an average tackle who has good understanding of the game, uses leverage well, and wins some of his battles, but he needs work to really develop like a key piece of his game.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think average is honestly the perfect way to describe him. I have 8 tackles above him right now, and I've only watched 9, so.
Let's go over to Donovan for his last one for Do Not Draft.
Yeah, this one I've been on longer than Caden McDonald, and it's LT Overton, the defensive end out of Alabama. He is 54th on the consensus big board I've been referring to. He is 96th on mine. And keep in mind, there's still a lot of players that I probably will end up putting above him. So we're seeing him dip into the hundreds. I just wasn't a fan of him. He was supposed to declare last year, went back to college to potentially raise his draft stock. We were talking about him last year as a day 2 pick. But he went back, thought he could be a first rounder. He ain't going to be a first rounder, I can tell you that. This guy is a cow on ice. He didn't excel at anything, in my opinion. I thought he was pretty stiff. He's not a good hand fighter. I think he's a body, and he caused a lot of disruption just being there, kind of like we saw Jordan Davis before this year. Of course, he was very productive this year, but just his presence in previous years was enough to scare defenders away. I think that was honestly LT Overton's best trait. I didn't think he had any crazy physical traits, and I'm just not a fan of him. I think he's going to dip down. Well, I know he's going to dip down into my hundreds on my big board, and he's a guy I would stay away from until day 3.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Do Not Draft, our second newest segment for episode 4. Let's get into Name That Prospect, one of my favorites. Went good last week. Yeah, went good last week, so we brought it back. So I'm going to ask the guys some questions out. Don't be peeking at my screen.
I'm not.
All right, let's play an honest game here. All right, for this one, I did top 50 prospects according to PFF. Last week we did just like top ones in the first round, but now I'm broadening up a little bit more to make it a little bit harder. So let's go with the first one here. First hint for you guys, 6'5", 243 pounds, senior, 88.6 grade on PFF.
Okay. Am I allowed to look at my big board?
Depends. What do you got on there? You have
just names.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Can you go over them again?
6'5",
Okay.
243 pounds, a senior, and then 88.6 grade on PFF.
Okay, 6'5", you said 243?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're probably looking at a defensive end. What are you thinking, Tyler?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right? Okay.
All right. Do you guys need the second hint? Or
I don't know, I was 6'5", 80. That's a pretty high grade. PFF doesn't be giving out grades like crazy high. I don't lose anything from guessing, do I?
No.
Senior. That's going to mess me up because there's I only know a few guys' class, honestly, off the top of my head. All right, we'll get the next hint. I'm not even going to guess.
All right, second hint. We have 14 games played, 663 total snaps, 83 total tackles, 1 interception, and 1 sack.
Oh.
14 games played this year.
14 games played this year, yes. These are all the 2025 stats.
The 1 sack really just threw me off.
14 games played, he would probably be on a playoff team, right?
Conference championship at least.
Yeah, and then a bowl game or a playoff. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, Mesidor had 12 and a half sacks. That's definitely not him. Ruben Bain had more than 1 sack. Could be because 88's high. I'm thinking, no, Arvell Reese definitely had more than 1 sack. Sonny Styles. You darted over at me.
Is that, I don't know.
I mean, if I'm not going to lose anything for guessing, I'll say Sonny Styles.
Yep, Sonny Styles.
Okay.
Yep.
Sick.
All right. And then the last hint would be linebacker.
Dang,
Ohio
I was going
State.
to guess him in the first round, dude. I should have went with my gut.
All right. Let's move on to the second player. 6'2", 220 pounds, senior, 81.8 grade on PFF.
I think we're looking at a receiver. There's so many guys in this class with just crazy height.
Tyson's pretty tall.
I think Tyson's taller than that.
You think?
No, he's 6'2", and I think Tate's 6'4".
Tate's huge.
Yeah, Boston's 6'4". Chris Bell's 6'2", and so is Elijah Surratt from Indiana. I don't think you can go Tyson just because he went Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
What was his
I'm
PFF grade?
going to tell you right now it's not Tyson.
What was his PFF grade?
81.8.
Okay. I think it's Surratt or Chris Bell.
I'm just going to go Chris Bell.
Is it a guess?
Yeah,
It's Chris Bell. Yeah.
Bang!
All
Let's
right.
go.
Good job. First hint. All right. Let's go to the third one for Name That Prospect. We have 6'5", 262 pounds, senior, 85 grade on PFF.
Wow. 6'5", 200 how many pounds?
262.
262. 262 pounds, 6'5". It's like a small lineman. Probably a linebacker. Did you say his PFF grade?
Yeah, 85.
Oh, wow. Jeez. These are all, like... I don't think it's anyone there. You didn't mention the games played. Is that a big hint?
That's the second hint.
Okay.
Do you need a second hint?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it's a D-tag. I was thinking because Caleb Banks only played like 3 games this year, but he weighs a lot more than 265. I guess it could be an offensive lineman, just a smaller one. No? What do you think?
I feel like it's probably a smaller offensive player. I don't really know that it's going to be a defensive player here.
I know. It'd be a weird fit as a defensive player. Okay, you want to go to the next hint?
Yeah.
Next hint?
That one was
All right, we have 13 games played, 8 sacks, 38 total tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 1 interception.
Holy crap. 8 sacks.
Yeah.
All right. 81 grade, 8 sacks. Could be looking at
85.
85 grade. 13 games. I was gonna say Zion Young, but Missouri didn't play 13 games.
Did they? I thought they played in a bowl game.
Did they? Oh, okay. They might have had a bowl game. Was he healthy the whole year? I don't think he was. Do you remember? We both talked about him on the show before. Zion Young.
I'd have to find my old notes.
I know, me too. I'm like 50-50 on whether he was healthy the whole year, but 8 sacks is a big number. I'd keep him in mind. Whose top 50 is this? PFF's?
Yeah, PFF.
This is a good one. I'm a little stumped.
Do you need a third hint, the third and final hint?
No.
Are you you're gonna get on the second one?
8 sacks.
And 38 total tackles.
265 pounds. It could be Cassius Howell. I don't know if he had 8 sacks. You don't know?
I'm stumped.
I'll just guess Cassius Howell.
It's not Cassius Howell. All right, third hint. You ready?
Oh gosh.
Edge. Out of Missouri.
Oh my God! It's Zion Young. Dang it, dude.
Let's go.
I couldn't find my old notes in time.
Oh man.
All right, that was pretty successful. I'm happy with that one. Really stumped you guys there.
Dude, I knew it too. I should have. Dude, all right. So I guess what I learned from this segment, since it was my first one, is to just go with my gut because I would have got on the first guess twice.
Last week I got it. I meant Sir Delane off the first one, and I was like, it's definitely not him. Then Will was like, yeah, it is. I'm like, yes.
Dude. What the heck?
Oh yeah. Anything else for this episode?
I was just excited to be back talking some football.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week for episode 5. Thanks for tuning in.